It's my understanding that most here would like this deferred.
Defer the item.
So why are we entertaining deputations when the intent is to defer anyway? Or
thank
to
you,
wait
Councillor.
for the feds to be a little more substantial? I'm
Mammoliti.
deferring it back to staff, Mr.
We'll defer back to staff.
I will move a motion to defer this item for the reasons I've outlined.
To defer this and to ask the federal and provincial governments to
Give us something more substantial. And even staff agree with me on this, by the way.
Now that's a first.
so at this point, no, there is no further debate or deputations on that item. Okay. So we'll
Take a break, Mr. Chairman. Take a break, Mr. Chairman. Take a break, Mr. Chairman. I move a 5-minute break.
we'll move on to item number 2.
All the people who just sit back and, you know, I used to be one of you. I used to be a federal.
5-minute break, Mr. Chairman.
I don't agree with you guys and your policy.
We're going to recess for 5 minutes.
Procedure, I mean, kids can have, but it can't be deferred for that.
Members, we are recessing for 5 minutes.
There's people dying. They call my shop and they say, hey, guess what? My family member is dying. Where am I going to access my cannabis oils? Where am I going to access my edibles? Where?
The federal program has been proven unconstitutional 11 times, sir. There are barriers to access.
Yeah, let's kill them. We'll be suing you guys. I hope that you guys have enough in your liability fund to manage this.
Resources.
I used to be a tax auditor for Canada Revenue Agency. Guess where this industry is going? Underground. I'm trying to help you pull it out.
How much money did this cost us?
You guys are so stupid. You can't even see it. You're killing people and you're throwing it back underground. I am calm. Am I touching anybody? No. So yes, I'm expressing myself. People are dying every day. Everybody, just so you know, people are dying every day. Calling my shop crying for their family members. Where am I going to access my oils? They're not strong enough from the LPs. How am I going to actually access cannabis? Yes.
Folks, if you want to speak to the press, let's go outside in the back over there.
I hope that when you go to sleep, you know you killed somebody. Because you have.
Yeah, who's paying you off?
Yeah. I used to watch you politicians. I was in your birthday parties. I watched you all take freaking cash grabs for nothing. Liars.
Was actually of their own making. We've been begging for dispensary regulations in the city for almost 2 decades.
And I don't think that's fair, and I certainly don't think it's Canadian, and I certainly don't think it represents the city of Toronto and how the citizens feel. Looming Canada Post strikes, her only access may be dispensaries. And that's something we need city councillors and we need the provincial government, we need the federal government to realize there are such barriers to access that these city councillors don't understand when they say there's a legal program. There's a legal program that does not work, and it's dispensaries that have filled that need over and over and over again as the federal government has messed up this program.
Start out by saying that I'm just as sympathetic as anyone else. Anyone's needs with respect to illness. What we did does not stop them from obtaining any prescription to deal with ailments.
Having trouble accessing a doctor who will give it to me.
The federal government do give out licenses to
Who's paying you off?
You're making gangsters rich.
I would say to you that this is a federal issue, it's a provincial issue, and until they're substantial with whatever they want, municipalities
Were they
do this.
federal?
I think it's
Who's paying you?
premature.
Who's
paying
paying you? Who's paying you? Who's paying you?
Shame on you.
Yeah, you support the black market. Organized crime. Who's paying you?
Deal with this, and at that particular time, I would be making up my mind in terms of which way I go on this equation. What I do know,
You're willing to
Being paid off.
Who is paying you? Coming up at every corner of each of our communities, And I think the federal government needs to step in. We do have the ability right now through the police department to be able to stop anything from just coming up.
What authority do you have
Pedophiles
to
and
kill
organized
people?
crime
However, there
and
is an
murderers.
effort to try and make
How many
these
guns
legal by the
did you
federal
get off
government.
the
And
streets
until the
when you
federal government
raided the
actually
dispensary?
legalizes marijuana, municipalities are not in the position of legalizing them. And that's what people just don't
You don't
understand.
have to criminalize those who have
Why not?
If other cities can do it,
Follow them.
You're such a liar. You're killing people.
Liar.
Why didn't you take another kickback?
I remember Toronto
Whether or
saying gay
not
people could get married here.
the federal government is going to come forward with their particular reports. When that happens, the municipality should be in a position to say how they want a bylaw to exist that would actually house these dispensaries. Some of us, quite frankly, don't believe that they should be on our commercial properties, that they should be,
Support criminals.
you allow body rub parlors, but you don't allow medical
where
access.
it's a little more professional. Than that. I think what you're seeing here is an effort
Making drug dealers
to
very happy right
capitalize
now.
on illegal substance right now.
Where do you practice their cannabis?
They'll have a chance to speak, and if they really want a chance to speak, then maybe their MP should host their own particular venues in their community, so that they can describe what the federal government is doing here, instead of pawning it off on municipalities as if it's controllable, as if we should be doing what the federal government should be doing by listening. So
why is it not
let the federal
responsibility to do
MPs do their jobs. Let Trudeau, as our Prime Minister, listen to everybody here, and then have them filter out a more substantial report to
Are you saying
municipalities
Toronto,
to be able to
Victoria,
deal
and
with it.
Calgary are better
That's how
cities
this
than
should be.
Toronto because they figured it out?
Federal issue.
And what about Vancouver and Victoria licensing?
Municipalities, and I'll give everything to that. Trudeau should not sit on his hands on this. He's the one who made the suggestions.
You're criminals.
Well, they shouldn't be on every corner of every street. We can't do that. Staff are not ready for it. This report says that staff are not ready for it. And both the province and the federal government keep making suggestions, including our premier, who's suggesting they be put into LCBO.
Oh yeah, that's put it with them and then work the way with the boss. You're the one who makes the first change. There's nobody else except
It's created chaos, obviously. It's either ultra-virus, in my opinion, at this particular time, given the fact that the federal government and the provincial government haven't been substantial.
The motion to be deferred until the federal government comes up.
And the provincial government, because the provincial government's already talking about where these things should be, right?
Your motion for the deferral would be in order. That would be in order.
And I think it's out of order and it's ultra-virus.
The federal and provincial governments clarify, especially the federal government, clarifies the position.
They have to make them by August the 26th. It was a court challenge.
So we have, now we have.
And why did we
there is no
entertain the
there is
motion
no
last time
There is
around
no debate on
from a
this.
letter from the mayor in order for us to ask staff to
Answer
come
my-
back within a month?
I disagree that anybody should be taking an illegal substance and pretending that.
Cannabis isn't oxycontin's okay, as well as how did cannabis become illegal all of a sudden? How did it just become illegal? I don't understand. How did it become illegal?
That's what you're doing.
Yeah, bullshit.
Yeah, walk away.
And you know what? I used to work for the feds, and you're just gonna drive. I know exactly how to push it back underground. If you want, I can lead the movement. Because doctors wouldn't give me access, and I couldn't take one pharmaceutical. They were making my bowels leak, and I was vomiting every time I took a pill. And they're trying to shove more and more and more down my throat. I was on 8 pills. 8 pills. How is my doctor not in jail right now? And they're trying to restrict my access to cannabis? I don't think so. Absolutely not. My LP provides me poison. I'm getting it tested. There's no way that there isn't chemicals in that cannabis. So why would I go into that MMPR program and pay $9 each gram all the way up. When my street dealer will give me an ounce for $200, why would I pay $250, $300 to get poison? It makes absolutely no sense. Why would anybody do that? That is all I can access to, and I need edibles. My body has severe muscle spasms. I'm itching and aching all day long. My bones crack. My spine cracks, my neck cracks, my thumbs crack, everything down to my toe. Every single joint cracks. I need edibles to keep that muscle spasm gone. But now this city has come and done an attack on edibles as well. So where are they leaving us all? Sick, injured, ill, back to your doctor to go get more pills to make your stomach burn out. I couldn't even eat a strawberry. So, I mean, come on. And this guy wants to drive it back underground. I used to be an underground economy auditor for Canada Revenue Agency. Are you insane? You have this opportunity to bring it out of the underground. Do you know how much we could get for our tax dollars? You know, it's Canada Revenue Agency. Let's make some revenue here. Let's put it back into the healthcare system. That's what we need.
And what are your thoughts on the process that just occurred that allowed this to happen?
Yes.
The councillors that voted and supported for it?
They're not sick. So what do they care? They have no personal benefit from this aside from the kickbacks they're getting from the licensed producers who are telling them to push these meetings off. Come on, they're in here weeks leading up to the raids, and then the licensed producers aren't responsible for this, and the city officials have nothing to say for themselves. Please. It's ridiculous. Everybody in the country isn't as stupid as they think that we are. We're educated. We're all highly educated individuals who can see past this. We can see through their garbage that they're trying to feed us. It's just a sham. Absolute sham. It's embarrassing for them.
They're trying to treat it as a pharmaceutical, and it definitely shouldn't be treated as a pharmaceutical. It's more something like ginkgo that you could just pick up at any natural food store. Like, it's not a lethal drug. It's not going to kill anybody. I mean, even ginkgo has caused heart attacks.
When they start talking about the pharmaceutical model, what most don't understand is that what we're actually looking at is an apothecary model. So this is an herbal medicine. This is a natural medicine. This is something that we're concerned when they start talking about pharmacies and such like that. When really this belongs in an apothecary and a natural health service. And we keep asking the cities to listen to the councillors say that the city has no right to regulate this and has no responsibility to regulate this. Toronto is supposed to be a super city. We're supposed to be a world-class city. And to say that Toronto can do nothing on this issue is to say that Victoria, Vancouver, and Calgary are better run than the city of Toronto because they have figured out a way to do it. So to say that to have a city councillor say that there's no solution to this issue is not only insulting as a citizen, but it's insulting to our intelligence.
It is.
It really is, because there's proof happening right now across this country that regulation is possible from a city standpoint. I don't own a dispensary. I'm not representing a dispensary. I am a patient. I've been a patient in the city for 15 years and an advocate. What this means is that the inadvertent benefit of this storm that they call Project Claudia is for the first time patients have actually gotten dignified access in this country, something the federal government has not managed to be able to do in almost 2 decades. So what we're asking is that they continue to allow these dispensaries to exist, but regulate them. Make sure that there are regulations regarding signage. Make sure that we regulate so that we control odor and smell and our impact on the neighborhood. There are harm reduction strategies that the municipal licensing and standards can do to mitigate the perceived harms of dispensaries in these neighborhoods. And dispensaries have served as a harm reduction tool in this city for almost 2 decades. What is about to happen is we're looking at a federal postal strike, which will take access away from patients. As these city councillors and everyone keeps saying that there's a legal access point, which most people don't understand, is that there are serious barriers to that access point. One of them, which will be a Canada Post strike, which means patients will not be able to access their medicine. It's a similar issue that we dealt with at Christmas with delays in Christmas delivery. There were patients that weren't able to actually eat Christmas dinner because they had no medications to actually induce their appetites. So this is my second time back at Municipal Licensing and Standards in the last month. And as predicted, City Council deferred us again till October. So they are passing the buck and telling us to come back in October. while they continue enforcement and raids on our dispensaries.
So you plan to be back in October?
I'll be back in October, and I will be at every protest, and I will be at everything that I can possibly be at to stop this fucking madness that is the Project Claudia and Toronto cannabis right now. Thank you.
Dope Chef Media.
Yeah, you got nothing to say, do you?
But you can't use the medicine.
Well, no, so I do actually know somebody who's running one of these licensed production facilities. And, it's all about the
So he's being you off.
It's all about the strain. I wish.
Yeah.
No money.
What is your knowledge in
How many liquor stores are in your neighborhood?
Have you ever been to a dispensary?
My neighborhood does not.
Where's your evidence? Do you have a petition?
Absolutely zero tolerance. Like no.
Then where are they?
Where's
So
the
you're
resident?
saying everyone in your neighborhood's not sick, and no one needs
Do you have a petition to
cannabis?
share? Some evidence to share?
Sure that.
Back up your
Again,
opinion?
the edibles that are being distributed in those pot shops are, they're labeled clearly. They know what sources they're coming. I think we're a lot.
No, they don't have them. That's where she's wrong. She doesn't
doesn't
know
know
her
what she's
facts.
talking about.
Those licensed producers are not allowed to sell
Where's your
edibles.
evidence?
That is just wrong.
What's your education?
That is an unconstitutional program.
Her friend is the CEO of Enable to.
That is an unconstitutional program.
So I don't represent anyone.
So what specifically are you concerned with regard to that? Yeah, what is it?
Oh, just making sure the supplies and the edibles that are.
If it's all tested, what's
But
the matter?
I am happy to report that the current, enforcement, I'll call it, has shut them down in my area, and because they are operating illegally. They have no business licenses. They're not governed by DimeSafe.
I have a business license and a food and beverage license.
Same here.
A master business license.
And it costs money.
I have that.
And there's taxation. Where does the money go from all the sales of all the marijuana that has been
Call the
sold?
CRA.
Take
Yeah.
Lawyers' fees now, thanks a lot.
Is it not in my backyard though at all?
Not necessarily. If they want to be in a drugstore, of course, you're going to go down the street. And I'll say to guys, if you're sick, you go to a doctor, get a prescription,
Do we-
go to the
yes, could
drugstore,
you
get your
explain to us
pharmacy.
the LP
So I don't
access
understand
if you
why
know it so
these
well?
other groups are so against it being
Could you
offered
explain to me
in
the
a
LP
drugstore
process if you know
environment.
it so well?
And if you're only
I'll
speaking
put
for
it back to
yourself, then
the
where's the rest of the
community.
evidence?
Why is there so much pushback? Why do you need
Could
your
you
own
tell me?
shop?
Could you tell me how to get
does
an
the government
MMPR
want
license?
control
Do you
and
know
take
how
all the
difficult
money
it
from
is?
I'm
yourself?
sorry, you're not answering my question.
Why? It's because not everyone has $50 million.
Not
Not everyone has $50 million to pay for the cannabis market.
Against or not embracing of a drugstore model.
Because you guys want to control it all.
Can we just get your name?
It's unfortunate.
Because that's what the media does. They like the juicy
Because
stuff.
she's the only, because she is the only one in a large city and a huge room of
Someone
people.
Google her name. Someone
She's-
Google her name.
We already did. She's a real estate agent that has 1 star in her review.
I really missed it.
Yes.
So she represents the real estate industry.
You have a 1-star review. How are you?
How are you representative of anything?
Your opinions or your customer service appears to be crappy anyways.
Edmonton Way Forest Hill. Yeah.
What is THCA? What is it? What's THCA?
Cotton, you know that one. You know
We're giving an indication that municipalities are in fact the ones that are going to be responsible in legalizing marijuana. Whether or not we agree or not as a committee, I think the perception out there will be as such. And if it is, I think it's the wrong perception to be
I want
given.
to caution you once again, democratically speaking, the public has been given an opportunity to come up and speak.
And I apologize to them for that, but I think it's not
To
the
be
right
heard.
time.
Why are we not allowing the public to speak? The public, there was a letter that was sent by the mayor that kicked off a knee-jerk reaction, and the motion was brought forward because of the letter. The public, we should have given staff more time to report back, but we gave staff only a month. Is our fiduciary responsibility, folks, here. We got to wear this responsibility. We, this committee, asked staff for a month, so they don't have enough time. Now they want more time. Just, my question's not finished.
Thank
Councillor?
you. Thank you, Councillor.
Hey, Amy, do you have any thoughts on today?
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that they deferred it again. They put it off. We came here in full force again, like we did last time. Presentations ready to go, and unfortunately, they're not ready for cannabis. They haven't. We've done all our research, and our government hasn't. That's the problem. So we're out here again. Same story. Still left in the dark. Nope, nothing has changed. We're just sitting ducks. It is disheartening. I know we are very persistent and we will prevail. It's just a matter of being heard. And I feel it's very unjust that we weren't even allowed to speak. This is our second time. And the councillor is saying this isn't right, but here we are in the hall doing press. It is what it is. We will continue on.
You'll be back in October?
I'll be back. We'll be back. You'll be back. I'll be back. We'll be here. I'll bring pop.
So I
seven stores in yes. And five of them got raided. 4 of them were closed when they got raided. They kicked in the doors, and we were trying to comply.
Listen, I mean, what happened to you guys?
51
was described as the Wild Wild West on behalf of the police at best. You know, I mean, coming into it. Here's the other thing. Once they get your product, they're effectively putting you out of business.
That's what I'm
because you can't get that product back. That's one of the things that nobody covers. I don't think that's understood.
Councillor Karygiannis, you are out of order.
Well, it's unfortunate that they didn't discuss the issue. As far as we know, enforcing laws based on mistruths and lies is illegal. So as far as we're concerned, the pot laws have fallen, and now we're waiting for the rest of the country to catch up to us with regulations. As a former bar owner, I can understand and know that alcohol is far more dangerous than cannabis will ever be. So giving the opportunity to use an alternative, whether it be recreational and or medical, I think that Colorado serves as a fantastic model to see the taxes that were gained. What happened here, they've driven the money back into organized crime, who buy guns, heroin, cocaine, human trafficking, and they have shootouts. We, on the other hand, support the police, pay taxes, create jobs, and we do not distribute any other drugs. So I'm not quite sure which part of this that people don't understand, but it's a win-win situation for the public, especially those who do not consume cannabis, because our tax dollars, $2.5 million, was the quote that I received on the raids, and that's just a part of the tip of the iceberg, because after that, cataloging, court dates, judges, prosecutors, lawyers, all this kind of stuff. So it's a humongous waste of our tax resources, especially when 1 in 5, 20% of our children go to school hungry every day. We have veterans who have fought for our freedoms and rights living on the street. You know, tell me what's wrong with this picture. Anybody who opposes this, as far as I can tell, they must be being paid off for some reason, and they're either tied in with organized crime or something.
Here we have the public. They were present at the last meeting. They have every right to be heard.
And so we hear the deputations today. Federal government makes another statement, and all of a sudden it's in front of us again, and we're going to start hearing deputations on this regularly. I think it just needs to be processed properly, top down on this one, and that's my intent. It has nothing to do with not hearing deputations. It has to do with process.
We had a list of speakers that, as a chair, I was ready to hear from the public.
Right now, it's completely illegal to open up dispensaries. Right now, the police department have the tools to be able to go in and enforce. And by us sitting here and debating this, we're jeopardizing the legitimacy of our police department as well with respect to enforcement.
Thank you, Councillor.
Are you surprised they deferred it?
Yes, actually I was quite surprised that it was deferred, simply for the fact that it's an ongoing issue that won't go away. And even just having an informal discussion no matter what. So, you know, again, what's wrong with this picture? We're fine. We want to know who and why they deferred this and what the reasons are.
Do you have any thoughts on the regulations in Vancouver?
Well, they're pretty good, but the issue is they're not quite fine-tuned. As an example, Victoria set up some regulations, and I believe it's $3,000 for a license compared to $30,000 with Vancouver. And also, Victoria has a 200 meter limit, and Vancouver has a 300 meter limit. So there's big differences, and I think that trying to hide cannabis from the public and children it would be the same as trying to hide tobacco and alcohol from children. They walk past it all the time, and it doesn't really affect them unless they're targeted with some kind of advertising, right? So again, once more, I think it's a far safer drug to normalize than alcohol would ever be. But again, prohibition for alcohol didn't work, and it most certainly does not work for cannabis. There's one other thing, with the cost of enforcement, and all that kind of stuff. We have another enforcement that works with us, and these gentlemen are called the tax department. And if you send the tax department into these dispensaries, I'm sure that it would strike the fear in all of them, not only because they have to pay their taxes, but the other thing is organized crime would be shaken in their boots, and they would most certainly not be welcoming to this. So that's one of my suggestions. Send in the tax department. Thank you.
So there is a lot of potential for tax revenue.
Oh, well, as an example, my corporation, Weeds, Glass and Gifts Ltd., in one year business year, we paid $700,000 in taxes. That would be GST, PST, personal income taxes, corporate taxes, as well as UIC, Canada Pension, and workman's compensation. So $700,000, and this year, from November to November, will be much higher. My name is Don Briere. I'm referred to the king as king of cannabis, and I run the Weeds, Glass and Gifts, and Mary Jane shops.
How many shops do you have?
Well, it's fluctuating. We have sold a few, but we can keep opening them. So I believe we're around 27 now, and climbing.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what are the next steps?
Well, the next step is legalization, regulation, and recreation. So, really, it's again, once more, I can't stress the fact that it's an alternative to other drugs, especially alcohol and different pharmaceuticals that are far more dangerous for not only our youth, but even old guys like me.
Really? Thanks a lot.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you so much.
We'll throw it up, so it takes time from the police, writing reports, court time, as well as the people that are going to push. But to raid these dispensaries is totally ludicrous and illegal. I mean, one of the things that we can say that we want to regulate them is to make sure that children cannot go in, children are not able to be in, and they're far away from educational institutions that they don't, the children are not going far away from community centers, far away from the schools. Once they raid him and take his products, he's shut down. He can't get those products back. So that's what is by raiding him, shutting him down, and then when he goes to court, he gets thrown out. His lawyers get the how it works, but he effectively shut them down because the products are not there.
And they take their product, right? But if you want to use our tax dollars wisely, instead of sending the police in, why don't you send in the tax department? I'll tell you what, that would make those boys shake in their boots, especially the organized crime. You want to get organized crime out of there. You want to get all this out of there. You send the tax department.
You know what? Our thing here is not, we can't tell the tax department what to do.
No,
however,
you can suggest
one of the things that we can definitely do is just that one of the things that you can really look at is how close are you to a school situation? Are you in a strip mall that there's a dance school there? Are you in a strip mall that there's a Kuhlman thing? Who was there first? They were first. You opened up. Well, sorry, you can't be in this proximity. That's one of the things that we can regulate right now.
Sure.
We can regulate that you got glass so people can't come in. So there's regulations that we can put.
So Jim, this is coming. Sorry, Councillor, this is coming back.
Jim, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's
Coming
okay.
back. It's October. It's coming back to licensing stage.
Yes. And you think it's going to be any better then? There's going to be no clear regulations then. I mean, one of the things that we did was a knee-jerk reaction to a couple of hundred emails that went to the mayor's office. The mayor wanted to look good that he was doing something. He ordered he suggested the crackdown happen. Chief Sanders listened to his master's voice, raided it. I mean, the chief says that I don't listen to politicians. That's absolutely not true. I have sent him emails when he's on Uber, email after email, call after call about meeting with the industry, nothing. Once the industry blocked Queen and Bay, the city, the mayor, called the chief and says, yeah, okay, well, I'll speak to you. He doesn't listen to his master's voice. I find that a little hard to believe. The mayor sends a letter here, and automatically we got dispensary shutting down? Come on. Let's get real.
I have a few questions. I don't know why I'm all caught up into this mess that's going on over here. I own a dispensary. I comply with the city's recommendation.
Yeah, well, and you were shut
I
down.
got a license, a food and beverage
I hear you.
license.
I hear
I
you.
got everything.
I hear you, bro. I hear you.
You know, so
But you were not able to be heard today. It's a tragedy.
it's ridiculous. So I
Did they raid you?
Of course they did. I
Yeah.
was shut. First of all,
You got your product taken away from you. You were shut down. You were put out of business. How many stores they raided of yours? 5. There you go.
so I understand what's going on, but
No, it's a play that's going on.
it's really
It's a
really
place-
embarrassing.
Reopening, they can't arrest us.
Well, you know what it is? I think that I think that you guys might want to think about getting a court injunction against the chief of police about raiding us.
Yeah,
That's a suggestion.
well, we're uniting now. There's 60 of us joining a coalition.
This is Councillor Jim Karygiannis.
Chair, Councillor Karygiannis, you held the item.
Chair, I think that Councillor de Briere is giving out some chocolate brownie. My question to him is, are there any substances inside it?
Chocolate brownie.